Hello, everybody. It's Dane Gentry with Standing Back Up podcast. Today, I'm here with my special guest, Mr. Mike Ford, a friend of mine that done a little bit of time together with, most of it on Max. He did, I think, 29 years. Went in 91. What's up, bro? How you doing?
That's 92. Doing good. How are you?
I'm good, man. Just hanging out. All right, man. So, well, first of all, where'd you grow up at? Where was you from?
La Follette, Tennessee. A little
La Follette.
small town, East Tennessee. Yeah.
Is that where you got your charges at?
Yeah. Yeah. Sure was. I probably
All right.
sound like I'm from La Follette, Tennessee, don't
Oh, they gonna pick that in. They gonna pick that accent out. I promise you. People do it all the time on TikTok.
I?
All right, man. What got you in trouble? What happened?
I got charged with first degree murder,
Mm,
um, aggravated kidnapping, and aggravated robbery on January 1992.
mm.
And I was 23 years old, wild as a buck. Was at a bar at an American Legion. Left there. We was out riding around, drinking. Met this guy. He got with us. He's drunk, kept smarting off. I punched him once, kicked him once. He died from that.
Mm.
Another boy was with me. They charged us with first degree murder. He took his wallet and went through his wallet, so they charged us with
Robbery.
robbery, aggravated robbery.
Mm.
Um, yeah, I'm seeking the death penalty on me and him both.
Did you
So
cop out?
I ended up finally taking a 80-year sentence,
Mm.
the second degree murder and aggravated kidnapping, aggravated robbery.
Boy, that's a mean one.
Uh,
80 years.
80 years, yeah. I'm 23 years old. You're like, God,
Yeah.
like the end of your life.
What went through your mind when you were sitting there signing for that, knowing you just signed for 80
I
years?
wasn't going to, but my family and them, my mom,
Yeah.
she was begging me, because they had the death penalty. She's like, please,
Yeah.
take that. First, they offered me 100 years. I said, well, ain't no way.
100 years.
Yeah, they wanted a life sentence plus 220s.
Wow.
So, I
Mm.
said, no. And then they come with that. I wasn't going to take that. My mom, she just kept begging me to do it. And so I
Yeah.
did it.
Well, that'd be a rough situation to be in. I know that, man.
I never thought I'd get out of prison.
No, I don't ever remember you talking about parole or anything like that. I remember you fighting a case in there. I remember
Yeah,
that.
I had another case in there.
Yeah, I
Uh,
remember that one. Yeah, I remember how that.
that would
I was
have
there.
that would have sealed the deal if
Yeah,
that would have
yeah.
sealed my fate of never getting out of prison.
Boy, it's mean there, man. Good thing it didn't. All right, so you're a young man, and here you go. So where did they even do? How'd they do classification back then? Where'd you go?
Brushy, like East Tennessee, you went to Brushy
Okay,
Mountain. So yeah, I went to Brushy. I went to jail January, August. I was sitting at Brushy Mountain.
damn, you got through that quick.
Well, I was on probation, so they went ahead and violated my probation and sent me to Brushy, awaiting the murder charge and stuff.
How long was you at Brushing?
I stayed there. I think I left there in January of '93 and went to Northeast NECX.
Boy, that was nice back then, wasn't it?
Oh
Northeast.
yeah, when I first went to prison, I was like, wow, this ain't too bad. you
No,
know.
and even when I went in, I come in '98, so it was a few years behind you. But even then, man, I remember how it was. I'll tell you what it was. It was actually, I'm wrong about that. January of 1999 is when I went in to prison. Is when I got to prison, and my first weekend in prison is when they went to the 2 meals on the weekend. You
Yeah, they
shouldn't think
started
that.
at about
Yeah,
98 or
maybe.
yeah.
Yeah, it was right there at the end, and I went
I was
to
on maximum security,
then.
unit 2
I
up
was
there.
I was coming right behind you. That was January, and I got maxed out the first time in June for the escape charge. They said, "Damn, you ain't got no write-ups. One you get, well, you get a good one." I was like, "Yeah,
I
that
didn't
is
go to
a good one."
max the first time, 97. So I
97.
went I went to 97, and I
It's,
went 6 times over the course of the 29 years.
yeah, that's the thing about it. You already know the deal. Once you got on it, man, it was so easy to go right back on it. It
Yeah,
didn't
you
take
don't have
nothing,
to do hardly nothing. They put you right back on it.
especially Howard Carpenter. He told me
When
at
I
last
met
night,
you, I see I went to Max with 2006 is when
uh, yeah,
but I met you, what was it, 2007, 8, 9,
no,
somewhere
you met
around
me
there.
2006. That'd been the same time or
6.
somewhere. I got off. I was on Max and I got off and went to the gang unit, Unit 7. They had just opened that gang
Yeah,
unit. And I was off almost a year, man. I was 11 months. I made 11 months, man. And I got maxed out again. Maybe that was when I first met you. It was 2007, maybe. When I come back that time to max, maybe. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe I didn't meet you the first time. Maybe it was the second time. I bet you got, okay. You got maxed out in 2006 for that deal on the compound.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I
But
remember
I
that.
was down there for, I think 2009. They let me out for a hot 3 months later. I come right back.
That's when it was. And you had came back when I went home.
I
You
went
had
out there,
been
yeah,
gone.
3 months.
Yeah. And you come back. Because I don't
Come
think,
right back.
did you even have a rock man when I went home? I think you did. You had some kind of job, I think. I don't remember.
They didn't. That didn't last long either. They took that.
What was that? What was that police's name? Boy, he was a weird mother. What was that dude's
Atwood.
name? Atwood. Boy, that dude was a trip,
Atwood.
wasn't he, man?
Yeah,
That,
he's moody, wasn't he?
man, I was like, see, my first time on Max down there, bro. It was what was that dude's name? Well, the pod officer was Richardson, and the corporal was I can't remember.
Severs.
No, man, this was a second shift corporal. He was kind of gray headed. He was really kind of a prick to most people, but he was strung out on pills, man. And they ended up running him off. They ended up forcing him out. I can't remember his name, man. But I had that spoon wrapper job. You know what I'm talking about? Or you wrap the
Lock you in
ground.
that little room. That's right.
I forgot about that shit. Well, I wrapped
Spoon wrapping job. That's a hell of a job. Ain't
oh, lock you in a room, sit there all day putting salt and pepper together with a napkin. But he come
it?
over there
Yeah.
and popped that pie flap down and had 2 perk tins crushed down and laid it on the flap. So there you go, do that. Because I had gave him some cook-off whiskey, right? And become cool with him. Him and Richardson both. I had them both in there drunk. Richardson brought me some weed, and that white dude, he was a vice lord, told on us, man. Got Richardson fired and got dude run off. I can't remember that boy's name, man. White something. But anyway, yeah. Uh, when you went to Brushy, what was it like up there? Was you ever like you wasn't in the tombs up there, was you?
No, I like it. It's all right. I mean, I didn't like the open cells. Had the bars on the cells that didn't have. That's the only thing I didn't like about it. But yeah, it was good. Food was good. It was just a bunch of old convicts. It was.
Yeah, yeah.
Now prison's just a bunch of little young kids. Every one of them's a gangbanger. It's
It
just
ain't.
it's gangland. It ain't
It's a
back when
trip.
I first went to prison, there wasn't no gangs. Everybody was their own man. You had to stand on your own 2 feet. It was just
Yeah,
totally different. The respect was, level was totally different.
yeah. It ain't none of that. And we watched that change, man. And knew it was
When I
coming.
first went, like my pro date was like 30 something years away, and I was like, golly, I'm dying here, But then I seen a bunch of these older convicts have been locked up for a while, and they said you'll get a shot at it one day. And I
Yeah.
thought, well, you're crazy. I mean, I'll be 50 something year old, man.
Yeah.
But I
It's a
actually went up for parole, I think at 50 years old, and they put me out for 2 years, and I went back up and they gave it to me.
and so you think about that for a minute. All right. So I'm gonna bring up Richmond we was talking about. Now think about his charge, what he had. All right. And the charge he had, and then he kills the dude Walt in the cell, right?
I think they gave him 40 years for that. He had a life sentence. And
He
then I
went up
think they gave him 40 for killing that guy.
he went up for parole. They put him off and told him to get a psych evaluation and let him out during
Yeah, I
COVID.
couldn't
All
believe
he had to
that.
do, I couldn't either, man. He went to a program last I talked to him. I don't know what was up with that dude, but he's a trip. But What
I
would
seen
you
Ricky Mormon get out. He killed 2 people in prison. He made bro.
who? I don't think I know him.
Ricky Mormon. He was up there at Brushy when Tim Kirk and Robert Gibson and all them. He was one of them
Oh, okay.
involved in that uh, little
Yeah.
incident. They called him the Magnificent Seven or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah,
remember.
he killed his charge partner right there in Chowhawk Brushy.
What is Charles Park snitch on him?
Yeah, yeah.
Mm. So that's the thing. I've seen a lot of them, man. Them charge parks around each other, and they want to be talking behind their back, and I'm always like, well, shit, they must
I
not been
went
that
back up
good.
there on a tour, went and seen Brushy. My wife wanted to go, and her daughter and grandkids, and we went up there. It was a trip after being there, being in there, and then you can just go and walk through the whole place. It was
Yeah.
weird.
I
I
wasn't
ended up
never.
being the tour guide.
Yeah. See, I was never there. I was never housed there, man. I come through on a bus going from Turney Center to Northeast. I got maxed out Turney Center the first time, and they sent me to Northeast, and then let me off or whatever and all that. But, what do you think was the worst part about prison, bro? What was the hardest thing? People ask me this all the time, and I really don't have an answer for that, man. Because
Yeah, that's
it's
what people. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's dangerous in there. I mean, you got to do sometimes things. You'll do things in there, that you thought, ain't no way I never do that.
mm-mm.
And then
Yeah,
people ask you how you do this, how you do that. It's amazing what you can do when you have to. When
yeah, that's what people say. Ain't no way I could do it. Yeah,
people
yeah.
ask me, are there anything I missed? There's one thing. That's
What's that?
people. Some of the people, friends I
Mhm.
made in there that'll never get out of there.
Yeah, I think about that a
Yeah,
lot, man. That's
I dream of prison every night,
no
but it's
kidding.
not bad. It's not bad. It's like usually it's like I'm getting out, or it's just something I'm waiting to get out. That's what it usually is. I don't know. Or
You've been
some
out what?
people, some of the people.
You've been out 4 years.
October will be 4 years.
When you first caught
Yeah, when
on,
I first got out, now that was kind of
that's what I was going to ask you. What was
a
that
little
like for you?
weird. Yeah, it was kind of weird in a way because so much had changed. My wife would do everything. I'd watch her like go pay for how the debit card worked and pumping the gas. When I went to prison, you just pull up and give a
Yeah,
guy some money there, and he'd pump your gas for you.
yeah,
But yeah, it didn't take long to the technology things. I had phones in there, so I
yeah.
know how that worked.
See, I got out right when cell phones were fixing to hit in 2009, and they hadn't really hit in there yet. And I ain't gonna lie for that. I struggled. I struggled at first, man. I wouldn't go in a store. I wouldn't go in Walmart. I wouldn't go in.
Oh, I
Look, check
love
this out.
Walmart's like an adventure to me. That's what I love.
I
I was
do
like, when we're
now.
going to Walmart.
Yeah, I don't mind it now. But check this out. The night I got out, my brother come pick me up in Nashville. I got to Nashville and fired up 2 big old hog legs, big around as your thumb, and smoked them back to back. And I'm sitting there before I realized what I'd done. I know better than that. You know what I mean? And I was so high. I was like, man, I gotta have something to drink. And we go down to a little Napco, and we pull up, and we sitting there. He said, "Damn, I thought you wanted something to drink." I said, "Man, I'm not going in there." And he was
You
like, "What?"
paranoid with it.
Yeah, paranoid as hell. And I was like, "No, man, I'm not going in there." And then next morning, I was like, "Man, I need to get some hygiene. Just shit you need to get." And he said, "We're gonna go to Walmart." And I said, "Shit, you're going to go in and get that shit for me. I'm not going in there." He's like, "No, you're gonna bring your ass in there." And man, you talking about, bro? I ain't never felt that kind of feeling in my life. It was just unreal. That feeling of just, I got to get up out of here. But I got past it in about 2 weeks, but it was a little rough. Um, and then in the time from when I got out then till when I went back, man, it changed so much just in that little bit of time.
Mhm.
It was like, man,
The food
everything.
really changed, didn't it?
Ooh, let's talk about that. Okay, so when you first went in, let's talk about breakfast. Let's just say, how was breakfast?
It was good. All the food was good. I was a
Yeah,
cook in the kitchen for a lot of years, a cook and a baker. That's
yeah.
what I did was my job. Yeah, it changed drastically.
Everything was fresh, man. Real eggs. The biscuits were good. They wasn't fresh. Not
Mhm.
when I went in, but they was good.
Yeah.
The little,
Everything was, I mean, it's kind of like school, like a school meal. Yeah, it was good.
yeah, corn dogs, pizza, and all that kind of stuff.
I first
Uh,
went to Brushy, and one of the first meals I remember, they had fish. And it looked like I went down to the lake and caught a fish and breaded it in some cornmeal. And I was like, wow, that's pretty good.
Damn. I don't remember. So I don't eat fish, though, but I don't remember it being that good. Well, I don't know, man. Some things was like
They went to the square, like you get
yeah,
it when you're in school, a little thing.
the
Now
breakfast,
they just
man.
got some fish flavored bread or something. I don't know.
The breakfast now, or now, not now, but back then, the breakfast was all right, man. You couldn't really beat that. Them little fish
Gravy,
fingers.
biscuits,
Hmm.
sausage, oatmeal, yeah, eggs.
Other day we was talking about old Calhoun, and you was telling me a story about them escaping in the trash truck. Tell me that again. How that was? How they do that?
Yeah, I was in the pod with them, him and Tony Hayes. Let's see, that was maybe 96, maybe. I think it was. Yeah, but they got in a dumpster. Back then, they had like dumpsters inside the compound of the prisons, and the dumpster was behind the kitchen. And they got in that dumpster and they took a Dremel and cut the lock. And
Yeah.
somebody else, after they got in the dumpster, took a piece of clear tape and put on the lock where you couldn't tell. Yeah, they took them to the dump and dumped them out. And Tony, that's my buddy. I still talk to him today.
Yeah.
And yeah, they dumped them out there. And Tony said that they took them to the wrong dump. And he said there's a bunch of old men sitting around in chairs and stuff. So Tony said he took one of them's truck. And said when he come out of the thing, said the guy driving the garbage truck run him off the road. So they
Damn.
jumped out and run. I think they caught Calhoun, kind of not long after that. Tony stayed in the woods for about 10 days up there in the mountains. He about starved to death, he said.
Damn. His Calhoun's daughter sent me a
Yeah,
message on.
I seen that. I
She
seen
said
that.
she said her daddy was a hustler. That he took care of her from in there and stuff.
Last time I seen him, we was on Max. I can't remember, but I remember he was supposed to go to the Fed. Tony said that he would ride him from the Feds.
Yeah.
So yeah, I seen in her message to you, she said that he passed away in January.
Yeah. That's pretty sad.
Yeah,
She's like,
yeah,
any
I
stories?
sorry to hear it. I like Calhoun. He's a pretty good guy.
She's like, any stories about it? I was like, no, I think I know somebody might. I figured you might, some stuff.
Yeah, I was there. I was right there in the pod with him when it happened. I remember Tony. They didn't tell me what they was going to do, but Tony
Yeah.
gave me a bunch of pairs of pants.
Yeah.
He asked me, I want these. They was the old, faded,
Yeah.
the good jeans
Yeah.
they had in there. And I thought, yeah, and then like the next day, they done that. And I thought, well, I
No
see
wonder
why
he
he
gave me
gave
that
me.
thing.
Yeah, he gave me his pants. He wasn't going to need them.
Uh-uh.
That was the first time that anybody actually got away. Now, Mike King escaped up there in the box when he put himself in the box there.
He
But
mailed
he
his
was
stuff out, didn't
yeah, he was in the back of the truck. So
he?
they just shut the door back on him. So we got one of the inmates over here.
Boy, it takes some nerve, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Like that, man. Just get in there.
Jim Slagle done that at Brushy Mountain.
That's what everybody keeps talking about. I
Yeah.
didn't even know that story.
I was in the pod with him at Morgan County. That's where I pro'd out from.
Yeah.
And he got locked up June of 1968. I was born in April of 68.
Never
And
going home.
I was in the pod with him at Morgan County. He went home in 2018. He was 80 or 81 years old. And he'd been locked up since 68. And he got out, and I think he was out like maybe a year. And they said that he was ready to go to church, had his church clothes on, went in there and laid down the bed. And they found him laying in there in the bed dead.
Well, it got him a year out there anyway, I reckon.
When I was at Brushy, they had a picture of him in the cow hall telling about his escape. And I was standing there talking to my wife and her kids. I said, I know that man. I said, that's a good man right there.
Yeah.
And people heard me, and then they started, wanting to know, him, the story. And
that's everybody knows stories.
Yeah, he was a good guy. I was up on the yard there, and I told my wife, I said, I used to lift weights right here. It used to be a little shed, and people got to hear me tell that. And then they wanted to hear, about that.
They take y'all down into the cell blocks and everything?
We could walk ourselves. I did. I
Hmm.
walked around, showed them,
Yeah. Also,
places and stuff.
they just let you go in there and walk around?
Yeah.
Oh,
The
no kidding.
tombs now, they had it. It was closed. You couldn't go in here, but you could go to the windows and look inside. They had the shower sitting out in the middle of the pod and stuff that was in the cells. And
Yeah. They say them tombs was pretty rough, man, from what I
it's
hear.
just like up there at Northeast, like in Max Pods,
Oh, yeah.
but it wasn't. But it wasn't painted. That's why they
Right.
called it the tomb. It's just pure concrete.
Okay. I wonder. Somebody told me some of the windows was knocked out and shit. I don't know if that's true.
I just
I don't think it was in back windows. I think it was like some of the windows like at the front at the top and stuff or something. I don't know. That's just what I heard.
they built it. I think in like 89, 90, somewhere around in there. It was there when I was at Brushy in
Yeah.
'92. It was
Yeah.
there. So.
That's wild, man. Nowadays though, you can't get in that trash no more. They take in big old spikes.
They took that well too. They took when Calhoun and Tony done that. They took the dumpsters out behind the walls of the compounds, out behind the fences. You ever
Oh,
notice that in prisons? You never seen a
yeah.
dumpster.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
actually
That
right.
put an end. That put an end to that.
I'm
That's
sure
like
it
the
did.
peanut butter. That put an end to it, didn't it?
Yeah, I know all about that. That was funny. I mean, I'll never forget that. They come there talking about we got to have all the peanut butter, even if you got a spoon. They said even if you got a spoon in it, we're going to reimburse you for the whole jar. I
Give you
said,
some facts, won't they?
they wasn't nobody telling nothing about what happened, and then you told me or whatever. But there wasn't nobody talking on what happened. Nobody could find out. Then of course we heard all the stories. It was this, that, or the other, and he was talking about how they didn't tell you they was going to do that. Our buddy would come from Brushy, was next door to me at River Bend. You know what I'm talking about? The one we hope is going to skedaddle out of there one day.
Oh,
And when he was going to court that day, him and Van, and we sitting there, and I can't remember what it was he said to me that morning, something, and it was something about the news or something. He said something as he was leaving, you know what I mean? Or I said,
I
see
seen them on CNN. I was like, golly.
man, I'm laying there, and it wasn't an hour later. Breaking news, Channel
When they
2
done that on Max, that's what I couldn't believe. I was like, well, how did they, escape from maximum security?
Man, that's pretty cool how they did that, though. Really, at the end of the day, with that
It's
ladder and
fun. It's
stuff.
kind of like a movie, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really was because Sergeant Hunt had already told them to put that ladder back, and then they got it moved back one more time. And then they told the guard they had to get out to cook the Ramadan. You don't cook Ramadan anyway; you just get it. It comes down there.
I heard you talking about that boy the other day stuck the shampoo bottle
Yeah, I know him.
eyes.
I know him. Right? Check out what he did, man. He's from Franklin. He got out, and his mama had passed away, and she was on them damn patches. It was fentanyl patches, but this was before.
Fentanyl.
But this was before fentanyl was. Everybody was doing fentanyl. This was back when heroin was still heroin stuff. Anyway, he goes to her house, man, and strips down butt naked and sticks every one of them she's got to his body, and sits there and ODs and dies. Yeah, he was a weird.
Hunt, Dale Hunt called me in the office one time, and he said, "Man," he said, "come here, for he's going to show you something." And that's what when you was talking about that boy doing that, he showed you how they get on the computer and look at them write ups. He found a boy. That's what I think he was on Max.
Yeah,
He stuck his dick
him.
in a
Oh,
20 ounce Coke bottle, got it stuck, and that's what they wrote him out. I don't know if it was sexual misconduct or self mutilation or something. And I told Hunt, I said, "Well, hell, there ain't no way I'd have told nobody. I'd have
no
been too
shit.
ashamed
Yeah.
that it would fit in a 20 ounce bottle. I'd have sawed it out there or something. I'd have come up with something. Yeah, that's what I'd have come up with something."
Mm.
Yeah, Hunt. He
Yeah,
was.
that's where that happened at River Bend. That dude with that.
Yeah,
bottle.
that's where it's at.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was showing me. They look at all them write ups and stuff.
I'm gonna tell you, old Dale Hunt, man. That was
Yeah, he's pretty cool. I liked him.
That's the coolest motherfucker I've ever met.
Billy
bro.
said that he met him. Said he started working at the walls when he was 18.
Yeah. He
That's
fighting
what Billy
everything now.
said.
Bro,
Yeah, that's what.
bro. He
Yeah,
wasn't going. He was
yeah.
not
He just
going.
take his radio and shit off and lay it down. And you whoop him cool, he whoop you cool. He'll go on about your business.
There was one of them up there. This was in Unit 1, River Bend, B pod. I was in cell 212. I was in it for 3 years. But anyway, there was a dude in like 207, the very corner cell before you broke the corner. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, he was kicking on that door and doing all that shit. And Dale Hunt was walking around. He done told him to be cool. You know what I mean? He run that mouth even more. You know, he went on out. And then he come back in there. He looked there. He already had it planned. He told him to open the door. And he got there. He opened the door. That boy's in there squalling. I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry, sir. It was funny. He made him say that shit too. That shit was funny as hell. But I heard all them old stories, man. And like that deer, they had the walls, man. That it come from, I think he said it come from Brushy or something. It fell over. It fell over the wall
Off
into the
the yeah,
bushes.
probably off the
I always
hillside
thought it.
there.
I always thought it was in Nashville, but apparently it's Brushy. But they said that deer, if you went and got your ice cream and didn't give that deer none ice cream, he'd get up on its hind legs and box your ass out and take your ice cream. Said it was a convict deer. And
Attorney Center, they had some cats down there when I went down there.
Biggins, man, back in the day, Attorney Center. Now, see, Attorney Center back in the day was actually all right, man. Man, you'd be
It
there
looked
on
like it would have been
Oh,
when
bro,
I
it
was there.
was.
It sucked.
Me too. Last time I was there, it sucked too. But
Jerry
man,
Lester was the warden there.
I was there in 2002 or 3. No,
It's
3 or 4.
probably it probably was all right then, maybe.
Oh man, it was. Only thing it was kind of messed up about it was Monday through Friday. If you wasn't in work or at school, they wanted you in your cell. Let's use on
Stay in the cell.
and they was the first ones to bring metal detectors because they had a metal plant on the compound. But it was all right, man, because you could get out and go wherever. You know what I'm saying? It's all right. But
That was one of the craziest things when I heard they had a metal plant. And I thought, well, what else would be crazier? Making drugs, or what, a drug store in prison, or what?
you want to talk about some swords and knives, bro? That dude made some gloves but had knife sticking out like he was Wolverine or something, man. You
I
imagine?
know a guy that comes from Attorney Center to Northeast had a pair and had a rod like go through your hand, and it
Bobby,
had
Bobby
the
Joyner.
things. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. It's
yeah,
exactly who it was.
yeah. I know. I know who made them. I know all that. Yeah, I know all about that. Oh, Bobby
He
did.
brought them to Northeast with him.
They tried to kill Bobby, didn't he?
You know, he sent me a friend request on Facebook.
Is he out?
Yeah, yeah, I'm friends with him. He sent me a message there the other day. He told me, he said, "I
Damn, I
love you,
didn't think he.
man." Yeah,
I
he's
didn't think
out.
he'd ever get out.
Yeah,
That's
there's a bunch of them out that I'm friends with a lot of people on Facebook. That's
yeah.
that had forever and got out, made parole, or had
Wow,
life
man.
sentences.
I guess they went through a phase of letting everybody out, man. See, I didn't know that really.
I
A
think
lot of
that new
people.
governor, I think Bill Lee.
Yeah, that's why I really
You
believe
know,
him.
I was in the cell with a guy, 2008, 19, no, 17. And when I first met him, he had that look like he looked like Dr. Phil, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With a pair of glasses. And I was like, oh no, they got me in the cell with child molester or something. But after I got to know him and stuff and what he's in prison for, you know what he's in prison for?
What?
They killed a guy and molested his son.
Oh
And they
shit.
gave him a 28-year sentence. And
20.
I thought, well, I figured they would have rewarded you, or
What what
at
county
least
was that?
not
What
found you
county was
guilty,
that?
Knox County.
That's crazy, man.
And he had done 17 years, and he told me, he said, I'm hoping Bill Haslam was the governor. He said, I'm hoping when he goes out of office that he was going to give me a pardon. And he did.
No kidding.
Yeah,
I
he
believe
did.
Billy's got a good chance, man, with Bill Lee. I really do, man.
He ain't never, harmed nobody physically. He done them escapes,
Yeah.
displayed a weapon, but a knife or what. But he never harmed nobody.
Nah. And all that's been that long ago, and he's letting people out, with
Yeah,
murders
he's
and
been in
all that.
prison 52. He's been locked up 52 years his whole life.
Yeah, he got locked up 2 years, 3 years before I was born. I was born.
72, 1972.
Yeah, I was born in 75. Uh, what about what's his name, Farrell? He ever get out? I mean, did they ever let him
Who?
off max, or is he still alive? What's his name? Farrell.
Conley.
Yeah, Conley Farrell. Yeah, they
See, I talked to him last time I had talked to him. I think he was on Max, but I think they let him off of Max.
did they?
I think, yeah, I
Yeah.
think they let him off. But I used to talk to him every once in a while.
Somebody asked me about him. I said, I don't even know, man. I met Conley. I don't know. I very briefly knew him. What was that dude he got maxed out with at Northeast? It was Conley and somebody, Jason or something like that. White dude.
Oh, uh, I know exactly who you're talking about. I've known Conley since I first went to Northeast '93.
I can't remember that dude's name. Me and him was pretty cool. They lived in there with me for a while. I tell you what, he was, man. He's one. You talking about somebody had a clean cell? Man. That dude would shine that cell constantly. Conley Farrell would. Both of them would. Him and that dude. Because back in they would move you around, man. That
You'd have to
shit
clean the
sucked.
cell. Yeah, remember on Max they do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. They move you around every so often, man.
I
And you,
hated that. They'd put you in the cell with somebody that ain't took a shower in 30 days or
man,
something. You know,
man, that cell be
you'd have to
so
clean
fucking.
that cell.
Yeah. And then 30 days they move you again. And then they finally stopped doing that.
Yeah.
That boy killed himself at Isaac Goins' boy. And then they moved us all one more time, put me in that cell that he did, which I didn't give a fuck, but put me in there where he was at. I saw him, man. I saw what he looked like. I went up there and looked at it. No Fugate let me go up there and look at him. I'm gonna tell you something, man. He thought he had it figured out what was out there, but I'm gonna tell
What
you
he
right
hang
now.
himself
No, he strangled himself. He didn't hang himself. He strangled
off the
himself.
locker, had the
He
sheet on
had
the
it.
locker,
He had it
sitting at
on
the
the. He
foot of
had it
his
on.
bed.
We was in one, so we had the showers in the cell. So he did it on the shelf. He had it tied to the shelf, but he sat down on his knees, bro, and just took
And
a sheet
leaned
and tied,
forward. Like,
took a sheet and tied it around his neck with dip snuff in his mouth. He had dip run all down the front of his white t-shirt, right? But the look at his body, the way it was, he was like he must have spazzed out or whatever because his body was like half under the bunk. You know what I mean? But his head was out. I don't know what he saw, bro, but I'm gonna tell you right now, he didn't like it. That look that was on his face, and that was either a look of whatever, but it looked like a look of terror to me because Fugate was like, I said, man, let me go up and see him because I didn't even know what was going on. I was serving breakfast, and I come over to give. Was you in there when he did that?
I don't know. I don't know. I was down there
No,
one guy or
no, you wasn't in
twice.
there.
Somebody
I,
killed herself. Huh? See, the one boy. That's what he. I thought that's who he's talking about. He
mm,
sat down and at the foot of his bed. He kind of leaned forward and had the sheet tied like to the locker, and they found him sitting there, and they fired like everybody on third shift, and
damn, that might be the same one. That's him,
cause they
maybe him,
cause
it
they
could be him.
they didn't notice. And I seen a guy in the '97 or '98 when I was down there. He'd come out the wreck with styrofoam cups like on his ears. He said the government was in his head or something. And he killed himself too.
This boy I'm talking about was Isaac Goins. He was the one that hated the women. He was in prison. He was a
He
safekeeper.
had a he had a charge on a younger
He raped
girl
and
than
murdered her. Yeah,
people's families mad because he killed himself. I
yeah,
was down there.
yeah.
Yeah, I was down there.
And that woman made that write up in the paper about him. Said she worked in the jail that he come from or whatever. And she said, "I'm telling y'all right now, everybody talking about they happy he's gone." She said, "Now we don't know where that evil was at." That was a strange dude, man. That dude right there was a weird cat. He was one of them people that if he would have ever got out on the compound, he would have probably
Was you
been
down there when the guy from the annex got drunk and they brought him over and put him in the hole and he killed himself?
from the annex, but I don't think
He's
so.
drunk and arguing with his wife or girlfriend or something. They brought him over there and put him in the hole. He took his glasses and broke his glasses and cut his throat.
No, I
Cut
wasn't
his
over then. Mm.
Yeah, that's hardcore there.
Whew. I tell you what, old Duncan. You remember old David? You remember old Duncan, Corporal Duncan, don't you? Worked first shift. You might not have been down there then. You might have been. No, he was there when I went home. So yeah, you remember him? He worked first shift. Old cranky ass Duncan, first shift corporal.
Oh, yeah, well,
David
he was a
Duncan.
corporal HSA.
Yeah, he's down there. He was down there anyway. I was a kitchen worker, you remember? And I was out there on a Saturday morning because I was getting tobacco. Is what I was doing. But anyway, I was out there and they had a dude back there in that dry cell. I don't know. I don't even remember who it was. It wasn't Tommy Barger. You would have thought it'd been him, but it wasn't. Um, and so old Duncan gets him a bag and shit, and that little stick they gonna poke that shit with, and he goes in there.
Digs it.
Yeah, he goes in there, and he's on the way in there. He says, "Make this motherfucker shit" or whatever. He goes on in there, and about that, it wasn't long. Here he come back out that door. I said, damn, what happened to you? He said, that motherfucker, Dane, or Gentry. He didn't call me Dane, Gentry. He said, he shit and reached down in there and ate that shit. He said, fuck that motherfucker. He can have it. I said, golly, man. I don't know who it was. I can't remember who it was, man. I don't remember who it was. That was so funny, man. He was doing everything he could not to throw up. That was a trip. And them days, man, down there, honestly, it wasn't that bad, especially having a job and stuff down there. I had it made down there, really. That job I had. And then old girl out there, the old CCO. Boy, I was in love with her. I wasn't in love with her, but I sure liked her. You know, Missy Snyder, remember her?
Remember Missy? I know.
Mm-hmm. Big Missy. Yeah, that was the good old days, man. You could get away with a little stuff down there. And Tommy Barger, you heard? Where's he at? He get out?
He's dead.
Is he? What got him?
Yeah, I think he OD'd.
Did he ever get out?
Yeah, he got out.
Man,
there's a bunch of people. I don't know, so many people. You know, OD people I was in the cell with, people just I was, before I got out of prison with. I know 3 or 4. We was in what was that, TCOM?
Yeah, TCOM.
They got out doing good, and then all of a sudden they, I guess I ain't never done an opiate. I've done an opiate a few times over the year. I didn't like it. It made me sick, so I don't know, what it's like to be strung out on it, or go through that sickness, or I've been around thousands of people, doing it and on it, and in the cell with some of them in prison, but I never did. I tried it a few times. I didn't like it.
Yeah, man.
It's like me puking.
I come home, man, and I couldn't. Well, I ain't gonna say I couldn't. I wouldn't stop doing it. You know what I mean? And then it got bad for it. I went through. I come on the first time, man. I never really accomplished anything but more charges. But after that, well, I come home, and then I started a little business, man. But I started doing dope, and so I lost everything. Man, I had 2 brand new trucks. I had a contract with Best Buy. I was doing it. I was bringing in about $2,000 a day profiting. But I was killing myself working. I was working from 6 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock at night because I couldn't keep no help. But anyway, I got right back on dope and lost all that. Then went back to prison.
You notice most people in prison, they're in there for something to do with drugs. They're either on drugs or doing something to get money to get some drugs.
Without a doubt, bro. And that's what I finally did, man. It come in little phases. My sobriety did. Man, there ain't no way in hell I'd ever go back to that shit.
I mean, I've done drugs. I like cocaine. I like Xanaxes. I used to smoke pot. That was probably my thing. But I ain't smoked pot. I ain't smoked pot since 2006, I guess.
No, I don't do nothing, man. I don't drink no beer. I dip, and that's it, man.
I don't. I
don't drink, smoke, away.
Dip. I don't do nothing.
Yeah,
I drank a beer or two since I've been out. I've drank like pizza or something. I'll drink a beer. I don't know if I drank one this year or not.
Yeah.
I
don't do anything, man. It's hard to believe that I don't, but I finally found my joy in life, really. I want to live, man. I want to.
Yeah, you get outgrow a lot of things.
I want to have something in life, man. And now I'm kind of on this path, I never thought I'd really want to get into a career of helping people, if you're going to be honest about it. I never thought my life taking that journey, but that's where I'm headed. And it's cool. I want, man, especially these young kids out here, man. But I don't know if that's where I'll go, but I'm going to help people in sobriety. They say once you get it.
When I was that age, people would talk to me, and, I look back at that, and I'd be like, I'd be like, yeah. I'd sit there like, yeah. The whole time I was thinking, hell, he don't know his ass from hole in the ground,
Like Billy.
All that stuff they told me, it was right, wasn't it?
Pretty true.
Your mom and your grandparents, whoever used to tell you when you was younger, you'd think, they don't know what you're talking about.
What kind of job and stuff you got, man? You got married, all right? Let's talk about who was your young
Yeah.
lady, man? Did you know her prior to
Uh,
getting out?
yeah, we grew up together.
Okay,
Went to elementary school, junior high, high
that's
school.
it.
I
That's pretty
think she's
cool.
like the first girl I kissed when I was about 12 years old.
No shit.
Yeah, we was real good friends. I hadn't seen her since high school, and I had a phone was on maximum security at West High,
Yeah,
and there she was. She had a different last name. I was like, wow, there's Candy,
yeah, no kidding.
and I hollered at her, and that was it. That was 2014, and we got married in 2017. I was still in prison
No kidding.
at
And here you are
Morgan County.
today.
Yep,
You still got the same job you got when you first got out?
yep.
No
Work at a
kidding.
sawmill. Yep,
You like it? You
hard
like it?
work too.
Yeah. Well, you's
Yeah, it's
always a
all
hard
right. I
working
mean,
man. That's it.
I was lifting weights. I lifted weights most of the time I was in prison off and on. And then I got out. I got a membership to the gym. And my wife, she's like, well, you still going to lift weights and work? I said,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll do that after I get off work, you know. And I worked that first day at that sawmill. And I was like, shit, that felt like a work out there. I don't,
Yeah.
yeah, we build engine crates too for diesel motors.
Okay. Yeah.
We do a lot of other different stuff other than just cut wood. But
Yeah. A lot of heavy
yeah,
lifting and stuff.
yeah.
What would be your advice, man? This is what some people. This is another big question I get right here. What would be your great advice for somebody who's fixing to go and turn themselves in to serve some time? What
I
advice
don't
can you
know,
give
but
them about going in there? Is what they asked me. Like, you know, and
start stretching real good.
I, yeah,
Uh, no, I don't know. Just going there, man. Like now, if I don't know. I thought about if I was to go to prison now, how it is. You know, it's just a
it's
bunch
very,
of. I mean, it's like a bunch of little young gangbangers, and everybody is affiliated with some kind of gang. And if you're not in a gang, you know what I mean? It's
yeah,
like you're the odd man out. You know, they're going to like try to prey on you
man. I
unless
tripped
they
out.
think you're unless they think you're a killer. You know what I mean? And then they probably just kind of
That's what
stay
it is.
clear of you.
Yeah, you know that. I mean, we know that deal. You know, they know if
I
you
don't
get
know. I
caught.
never was. You know, I done 29 years. I wasn't never in a gang or affiliated with nothing. Just go
Yeah,
in there and be respectful, man, and just have a
I
little
went down that
sense.
road. I went down that road, but I went down that road as a kid first. When I was 15. You know what I mean? And so it kind of carried over. But that's the big one of the biggest mistakes I ever made in my life. I don't talk about it a lot because at the end of the day, to be honest about it, I'm ashamed of that shit. At one time, it was a good thing. I'm not gonna lie about it. It served its purpose, but then it turned into what it turned into, and I don't even let a motherfucker know I was ever in part of nothing. Just to be honest about it, just because of what it did. But it is what it is, man. But I just tell them like, man, just respect, man. You know. But it's
That's it.
but
Don't get
respect
in
ain't.
debt. Don't
Yeah,
owe nobody. Just be respectful and
yeah. And that's it. I mean,
I mean,
people say, well, what?
wait,
You ever saw anybody get raped? I didn't. I never even heard about nobody. That's the honest God truth. Never
you
ever.
don't see that. I mean, ain't nobody getting raped. I mean, people probably
Yeah,
having sex, but not,
yeah. They give
against
them the
their
money.
will. I know, yeah, against their will. I know you
What's
don't
that?
see that's like them old prison movies or something.
What was that boy's dude's name? Danny Green or something like that. Little old nasty ass dude. He got
Little bitty
caught with
bald
somebody.
headed guy
Yeah,
had a
he
real
got
deep
caught
kind
with
of
some
scratchy
dude.
voice.
Yeah, he got
Yeah,
caught with some dude and hollered. One of them hollered rape or something over. To come to find out, it wasn't nothing rape about it. He was in there or whatever. But that's the only time I never all them years. But they say, bro, in some of them states, it's going down though. That rape shit, like Georgia, Alabama, uh, and up north too. I was like, damn. I was out
that's
west.
like I heard somebody asked you about the shower. You got your own shower. You go in
Yeah.
the shower, lock the door.
Yeah, when I first went to prison, I went to MLRC for classification. It's a women's joint now, but they had them open showers with a pole with 6 shower heads
Brushy
around it.
had a pole with about 6 little shower heads on it.
Yeah, wasn't
But
nobody going
still,
there to
back
cook.
then they would just let one person go.
Yep, they were trying up here in classification. Oh, y'all got to go bullshit. Everybody got to go in there. You're tripping. They tried to make me go to a little convention deal in there. It was January, so put two and two together, but And I was like, I'm not going to that. And the lady that's working the hallway, she's like, well, if you don't get to go, I don't get to go. I said, well, it looks like you're not going today. They were some bitches down there, man. It was, you can just imagine. But
Where was it? MTRC?
no, MLRC in Memphis.
Oh,
In Memphis.
yeah, okay, Mark Luttrell
Yeah, they put me in the hole over at
Reception Center.
I hadn't been in the penitentiary for a week. Went to the hole. I said, "Dang."
I think that's a women's prison or something down there now, ain't it?
We was actually the last groups through there. They was turning it into the women's back end. There was a women's annex or something across the street from it already, and then they were shutting it down. It's supposed to have been something like a women's, almost like a family center, something where the kids could come and stay with them or something. You know what I mean? Something like that. All right, buddy. I appreciate your time, man. How does your outlook on life now?
Shit, I'm just working and fishing and enjoying, man, what I got left of life.
That's what it's all about. That's what people ask me. You know, what's your biggest? Man, I like to chill. I like to fish. I fish as much as I can. And
freedom, man. Just being having freedom, man. I just like going to the store, being able to go out there and start my car.
Yep, anything, man.
Walk out the door. Yeah, just live, man.
It's them small things, and all them years, bro. We stood there behind them doors and looked out that glass, or walked around with them shackles and them belly chains and coming off of it, working out there. All them years.
When they took me out there that day and let me go, and I was chained up, and stuff, and they drove me through the Sally Port and drove over to my wife, and he opened the door and took all my stuff off, and he said, "Good luck," and left, and just left me standing there looking at the mountains. I didn't know how to feel.
Oh, Gilmore, you remember him?
Gilmore, yeah, big tall guy.
He's the one who took me to the bus station, and we got down there. I don't remember who the other guard was with him, but anyway, we get down there to the bus station. And he's going to try to tell me, hold on, you got to stay right here. I said, man, you're tripping. I ain't staying nowhere, buddy. We ain't in the penitentiary. He just looked at me all stupid because he was kind of like that anyway. He was kind of whatever, but he was shady as hell too. A lot of people didn't know that, but he'd write you up, but he was.
I felt happy, sad, scared. I felt all kinds of emotions.
It was a weird thing, man. I took off walking from that bus station and walked down to Johnson City, went and got me a can of dip and stuff the first time, and then come back and got on the bus. Bro, I got
car sick.
I didn't look. They put me on that Greyhound test real quick. They put me on this Greyhound, and when we got to Knoxville, some more people come on the bus, and this girl come on, and it happened to be the only seat open was the one next to me. And so I let her have the window, and I stood on the aisle, whatever, and we started talking. I had that little net bag with some mail or some pictures or some shit in it. I don't know what it was, something. And she said, where are you coming from? And I said, I got out of the penitentiary. And she's like, how long you been there? I said 12 years. And she said, man, that's a long time. Go without a woman. I was like, damn, you just don't know, girl. You just don't know. She dropped her little head in her lap. But anyway, just like that fast, and didn't say another word. Just dropped her head down there and said, and was done and said, there you go. Welcome home. I was like, damn.
I appreciate it.
Welcome home. All right, bro, man. Good to see you. Love you. Stay straight, man. I know
you too, man.
About that, man. We'll continue talking. We'll do it again.
Good talking to you, man.
You too, man. I hope we get Billy out here, man. We can get him on one here. All three of us to get on here and do one. That'd be a blast.
He got some good stories.
Yeah, he does, man. All right, bro. I'll be seeing you.
See you.